Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of Frail Conversations. Today, we're going to be talking about when we cross over into manhood. And this topic came about mainly because I started to look at how a lot of, not a lot of us, but a fairly decent amount of us don't mature. Like, we continue to get old, but we never age. You dig what I'm saying? It's like as we move forward, it's like, when's our cross? Because I don't know. I watch decent amount of old heads. You know what I mean? And the reason why I'm saying like old heads, because like I know there's a generational thing with it, who try to continue to do young shit, who, you know, still call themselves the kid, young, little, all of that shit. Okay, that's fine if that's what you want to perceive in your mind, that, you know, you're young forever. But then it starts to get, you know, you start to wonder, like, what the fuck happened? Like, when is the line and when is the moment when you actually cross from adolescence to manhood? Like, when, like, not only that, like when you feel internally, like when it's outwardly expressed too, that you have crossed the line from adolescence to manhood. You know what I mean? And I don't just mean, you know, graduating college. I don't just mean getting a quote unquote good job. I don't just mean, you know, paying your own bills and doing things, but like, because there's a different essence that starts to exude, like when you go from your adolescent phase to your man phase. You feel what I'm saying? What moment does that happen? And more than that, I'm like, what moment is that supposed to happen? Because it's like, when I examine a lot of my peers, when I examine a lot of the younger generation, when I examine a decent amount of the older generation, it's like something's not right. You feel me? Something's not quite right. And when it really stuck out to me, I was one day I was talking to an old head and shit. And when I say old head, I mean old head. He was about, you know, twice my age. And it's like, as we were talking, it seemed as if I was speaking to a peer. Now, at the time I was 28 and I think he was 50. So it's like, as I'm talking to him, it's like I'm speaking to a peer. You feel what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was literally speaking to an elder. Like, you know, and his mindset was a lot like mine. You feel me? It was a lot like mine. And I mean that on the most basic levels of being a lot like mine. Like, you know, seeing a woman walk past and just, you know, lusting over what you see from the physical perspective, as opposed to, you know, appreciating or admiring is different. Like, I've noticed, like, just from the interactions that I had, like when I talked to those elders who have actually, you know, put in the work and I guess, you know, made that transition into manhood, like they give me different guidance, a different game about women. You feel me? They say they look at women and they appreciate them in a different way. You feel me? And when I look at the elders versus olders, when I look at the elders, it's like they are responding just like me. Like they are, I don't know what happens where they get caught in this like time loop or some shit, and getting caught in this time loop, they stay there for X amount of years. And then it's like your mental space is still on par with mine. I'm like, I don't get that. You feel what I'm saying? So that started to make me wonder and pay attention. Like, at what point is the mindset changed? At what point is the soul changed, I guess, to where everything is aligned and you have transition from out of adolescence into manhood? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I get we talk adulthood being, we talk adulthood and shit being on a basic level. So then when we equate that to manhood, it's real simple, but it's like, what causes that to go this way? And is it a real thing, or is it just a ploy that keeps us from crossing over to manhood? You know, because there's so much that goes into it. But before we dive heavy into it, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _scene_. Be sure to check out my website at iamjustsing.com. To all those who tip, sponsor, and donate to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. I thank you so much. And to all those who would like to, you can do so by clicking the description of your podcast, not the episode itself, but not the description of the episode, but the podcast itself. Shit. I forgot. But anywho, yeah, I don't want to waste too much time because this one is a very, very important topic, and I really want to get into it because we have a lot of things that we need to transform into for the future and transform out of for the future heavily. So I'm gonna get into that now. So without further ado, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna dive into So Frail conversations. When do we cross into manhood? No. So Frail conversation. When do we cross the manhood threshold? I like that better. So Frail conversations. When do we cross the manhood threshold? Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit iamjustsing.com. There you can get all things Just Sing. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit iamjustsing.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustsing.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustsing.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustsing.com. You ever want to just chat with Sing about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustsing.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustsing.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit iamjustsing.com. All right. Welcome back. Let's kind of just dive straight into this shit because I know, I mentioned this in So Frail 1 or whatever the case may be. And I was talking about the old boys. It's an old boy complex. Some people call it the baby boy complex too, but in addition to the baby boy complex, there's also the old boy narrative. You feel what I'm saying? What I mean by old boy is that we get caught in the loop, or I guess a time frame in which our adolescence gave us some kind of internal power, internal connection that we tapped into and we stayed there for X amount of years. It wasn't an ongoing thing and we kind of never let it go. And so far I was talking about the mantras of suppression. You feel me? Where, you're calling yourself young when you're calling yourself the kid. Now, this is not to say also affirm these things over yourself. Like, oh, I'm old, I'm this, I'm that. That's not what I mean. But like, I've noticed that as we speak certain things over ourselves, we stay in that loop. Right? So when we look at our adolescence years, right, I've noticed that a lot of us, we stay in the adolescent mind up until I don't even know when. You feel me? And then like and I think it comes into the fact that as men, within the structural paradigm of what things are, we have the luxury and the ability to be immature. We have the luxury and the ability to be childish for as long as we want to be. And as long as like we choose to be, we never have to truly evolve ourselves until it's too late. You feel what I'm saying? And I've noticed it like a lot of times with, of course, in the relationship world, you dig what I'm saying? It's heavy, because they've convinced us. See me, I'm not a firm believer of this. I can't be a firm believer of this because I call shenanigans on the shit because for me personally, I don't feel like it's like, and a lot of times when I don't feel like it's really a thing, you know what I'm saying? That we're less mature than women, or we mature slower than women. You feel me? I think it's bullshit. I kind of know it's bullshit. You feel me? And I have to base that on myself. I base that off two principles, right? One, from my own personal perspective, I've learned that I find myself that happening to be a lot more mature than some of the women that I involve myself. Well, most of the women that I involve myself with, even deeper than that. Not only just being more mature than the ones that I involve myself with that are like within my age pocket, but some that are also older. So now I get it. Well, the exception to the rule, you just because it's an exception to the rule doesn't necessarily mean that the rule isn't in place. But it does, for me, make it feel like the rule is bullshit. And not only that, because now that leads me to my second point. Because when I look at women who always say men are fuckboys, men are wrong, men are this, men are that, right? Logically, this is just my thinking, this is just my personal thinking when I think about the accountability piece of that. You feel what I'm saying? How is it that as men, we're able to be, quote unquote, we're labeled and we're taught that we're more immature than women. You dig what I'm saying? But at the same time, we're running game on women that are more mature than us. They can't see through our bullshit. Something's wrong with that. You dig what I'm saying? Something is wrong with that. You feel me? Now I get it. For on one side of it, you could be saying something's right with that. But on the other side of it, it's like something's wrong with that, because how in the fuck do we really mature slower than women? If in fact we're running game on more mature women. You dig what I'm saying? Why does that happen that way? Because like when I look at the dating pool for myself, when I look at where we at, it's like, damn, every woman is having to recover for some shit that a dude did. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's like, how do y'all get fucked over? Like, y'all are the more mature ones. Y'all are the ones who are supposed to be able to see through this shit. Y'all give us all kind of things. Like the mantras we have as men are like, boys will be boys. But the mantras that women have are woman's intuition. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got spirits of discernment. How the fuck is that shit not kicking in? What's the issue? You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, when that happens, it kind of puts me into a quandary as us looking at, how are we still doing that? And then it's always the same narrative. Well, the women will say that we're acting like children. The women will say that we never grow up. Hell, now it's so stuck now. Now this is no slight at anybody. If you still play video games, by all means, do your motherfucking thing. I'm not tripping at that shit. It's not the video game piece that I'm actually discussing. Play video games. But it's like, at this point, we're literally watching how we never change. We never change. We never grow up. You feel what I'm saying? We never leave that point out of adolescence to where we transition into manhood, and it's a different dynamic. We remain adolescent and we continue adolescent no matter how many decades we get on us. And here's what I'm saying by that. Because I knew a woman who married a man or was involved with a man that was significantly older than her. And she tells me, me and her, we were real tight, real close, right hand people, like, childhood together. So she says, I got with him because he reminded me a lot of you. I said, wow. Okay. Mind you, it's like when I finally met him, and it's like when I finally met him, all he did was play video games. You dig what I'm saying? All he did was play video games, and he had like slight personal identity issues to where he didn't really know who he was. He was trying to fit in and do the things that he thought the cool people did. Mind you, this man is 15 years older than me. Like, me and him have a 15-year bracket gap. So it was noble. It felt good to hear when she was like, yeah, he reminded me a lot of you, And I was like, there's so many different dynamics. And then when I seen his lifestyle and how he moved, I said the only way he could remind, and like, the thing about me and her was, I think we had not actually physically been around each other for like a good 3 years or some shit. And it had to be a little bit longer than that, because 17, 20. Yeah, so about a good 4 to 5 years when she meets this guy and she's like, yeah, he's just like you and all of this stuff. And I'm like, we haven't seen each other in a minute. I don't think you really can say that this person is like me. He's like a version of me that you knew, and the version that like, I used to be a gamer. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, I was a gamer when I was like 12 up until maybe 18. Not even that. I think I was done I stopped playing video games heavy like that when I was like 17. When I was like 17. Like, I went to college in '08. You feel what I'm saying? But I went to college with a PS2 that I didn't play. Like, I had a PS2. Like, you feel me? And not the newer, sleeker, slimmer PS2. I had the big, bulky bitch. Like, that was literally the timestamp that I was stuck in. That I was like, I'm good. I played the video games, and then, you know, and again, this is no slight to anybody who's still playing video games. I'm doing this for referential point, right? So the person is older than me, and this woman says, he makes me like, he reminds me a lot of you. That's, for me, in my perspective, I'm like, that's a problem. Me and him are 15 years apart. You dig what I'm saying? It's not like he reminded her of a version of what I could become. He reminded her of a version that I am, or that I was, or that she knows me as, you know what I'm saying? And so putting that shit into perspective, I was like, and then I actually meeting him, spending time with him, chilling with him, I was like, yo, bro, like, you know, and then, like, mind you, me and him are 15 years apart. And as I'm sitting there talking to him, it's like, he's like, yo, man, I'm learning a lot from you. Problem. I'm not saying that everybody, yes, I am saying that everybody that's older should be able to give me more than I give them. Period. I'm sorry. Like, if you have a significant amount of time on me and we're able to keep up with each other, something's not right. Something's not right. What have you done with that time to where we're still, you're not my elder. You're just a little nigga that's older than me. You feel what I'm saying? That was something that I learned growing up. Like, a lot of the people that I looked up to as big homies, they weren't my big homies. They were little niggas that was older than me. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm seeing it now because it's like, you know that phrase, when your idols become your rivals, you know? And then what happens when you surpass that? Even enough that, like, they can't even be a rival anymore. When you get like, and it's like, now they just, you know, you're the big homie now. You feel me? There's no slight to my big homies that I knew when I was a teenager, that I knew when I was a kid. But now it's like, there's degrees of separation. I'm the big homie now, but I'm still younger than you. What happened? Like, we're still technically on the same thing. So the point that I was saying with that was that it's like, we got caught in a loop. We get caught in a loop. And in that loop that we get stuck in, it's like, when are we supposed to say, bam, let me step over the threshold to manhood? Now, this is beyond just saying, okay, I'm gonna get a job so I can pay my bills and do all of that stuff. Like, nah, that's kind of a given. That's kind of a given. What do you do as far as initiative? What do you do as far as the things that nobody has to tell you to do? You feel what I'm saying? I know people that work that if they didn't have to work, they wouldn't. You feel me? So how would you operate from your livelihood? So it's like, that is one of the things that it hits me. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot, because it's like, now I'm in a phase right now where, you know, I joke a lot, I play a lot, but I be serious as shit when I be saying this shit. When I joke about, like, you know, liking cougars and, you know, wanting cougars and all of that shit, making shit about cougars. Like, I've always liked older women. Don't know why, but I understood that it's like, somehow I was always able to be like, it doesn't matter what the bracket is. You feel what I'm saying? I've involved myself with a year older than me, all the way up to about 10 years older than me. You feel what I'm saying? The highest it potentially could have got may have been, like 17 years. But it's like, when they're telling me about the men that they're dealing with, and they're telling me about they're telling me shit that is like, damn, bro, like, I should be, like, the stories you're saying are shit I should be doing. And they're doing that at that age. They're like, yeah. So I'm like, what happens? Because now they're saying, because the narrative is always, as men, we don't mature as fast as women. That's bullshit. That's bullshit to me. Because even if we want to keep it in that perspective, right? They say, okay, when women start menstruations or whatever, cycles or whatever the case may be, about anywhere between 8 to 12 years old, men go from anywhere between 10 to 13. So it's like, biologically, women mature about 3 years faster. Something's fucking wrong with that problem. Something's fucking wrong with that problem. And here's why that's problematic. Because even if we stick to it being, okay, 3 years, In our adolescence, in our early adolescence, when we cross into our teenage years, women are 3 years, women mature about 3 years faster than us. You feel what I'm saying? Now, this is not an exponential 3 years or anything like that, like where, you know what I'm saying, it's on a parabolic curve. This is like a linear 3 years, like 3 years ahead of us, allegedly. You do what I'm saying? Allegedly. And I'm going to get into why I'm going to say allegedly and why I think all of this is bullshit and a joke. And yes, religion will be tied into this shit. So when we look at that shit, if it's 3 years, then why does the gap stay? How come as the years go on, that gap, it stays the same? That like, you know, I mean, it doesn't stay the same. Like if we matured faster, if women matured 3 years faster than us, right? When we get to a certain age, when we're quote unquote the same age as them, and they're already supposedly 3 years ahead of us, how the fuck, like I said, how the fuck are we doing things that their maturity can't stop? If they already got 3 years, at least 3 years of maturity above us, supposedly, how is it that they can't see through our bullshit? You feel me? You have to have a certain level of maturity to actually outsmart a mature motherfucker without them knowing that they're being outsmarted, running game. You have to have a certain level of that shit. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, at what point do we acknowledge that? And you know, and for us, it's like as we grow up, we always hear boys will be boys up until we're 30, until we're 20 something. You feel what I'm saying? Women have to act like young ladies until like starting out. You feel me? Young ladies have to be this. You feel me? So it makes me wonder, like, is this shit by design that women mature, that men mature quote unquote slower than women? Or is it something that naturally happens? You feel me? I personally feel like it's by design, because now when we tie back into like religious mentalities and things like that, it's like everybody's like, okay, well, I get from the physical aspect about biological clocks and shit. You feel me? Oh, well, men were like, yo, I want to get younger women, like men will involve themselves with younger women because they have convinced us. Somebody fucked the game up. Somebody twisted the game and added a cheat code to the shit, which like, well, because men mature slower than women. So because men mature slower than women, they need to deal with younger women. And women should be dealing with older men. That's bullshit. That's bullshit to me. That is a logical choice. And I feel like, where does that come from? And then you go back to your biblical references and shit like that, and you see a lot of the kings, a lot of the motherfucker Don Dada motherfuckers, they were pedophiles. They were pedophiles like a motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? And that was okay, supposedly. It's not okay now, but yet people still follow the same doctrine. Like, people don't even know how much insanity they really stuck in. We don't know how much it's like, we know that pedophilia is wrong right now, but we still follow a pedophilic doctrine. Why? Why? Like that shit. Well, that's because what they did back then. Okay, so that's what they did back then. We know that it's a problem now. Why are we still following what the fuck they did back then? You feel what I'm saying? The shit blew my mind as I'm reading the text, and I see that who was it? Leah, Rachel. Who did they marry? Isaac or Jacob? No, because Jacob, Israel. Then they made the delineation. No, it was Isaac. They married Isaac first. All right, put a pin in that. And I'm going to talk about it, but put a pin in who the title is, because it's either Isaac or it's Jacob. Because Isaac and Ishmael, Jacob and Israel. Jacob became Israel. It's an odd name. I want to say it's Isaac. It could be Isaac that married Leah and Rachel, or it's Jacob that married Leah and Rachel, because Jacob is Israel. No, because Israel married Hagar. All right, so it is Isaac then. It is Isaac. So Isaac is, no. Isaac is Hagar, and so Leah and Rachel, I'm right. Leah and Rachel is Jacob. So Jacob, who's supposed to be Israel, is he likes Leah and Rachel, right? He marries Leah and Rachel, but he liked Rachel first, and he wanted to marry Rachel first. It even says that when he seen Rachel, Rachel was the most beautiful woman that like he ever seen. He fell in love with her. Rachel was 12 when he ran into her, and he was 40. Biblically, if we want to put the timestamps into the shit and we look at the way in which all of the details show the story, Rachel would have been a 12-year-old girl and he was 40 years old. He's so fucking sick that he literally worked 14 years just to marry a 12-year-old. Now, granted, she was 26 when they finally got married. She was 12 when he fell in love with her, and he was fucking 40. So that means if she's 26 now, he's 50 fucking 4. You dig what I'm saying? He's 54. He's 50 fucking 4, and she's 26. You dig what I'm saying? That shit, we do that shit now. That's where we are right now. You know, women don't mature. Is that it's like, no, and I feel like that shit keeps us from not going, like, in order to be, because this is my mentality, in order to be attracted to somebody, no matter what the age is, forget the age, like, in order to be attracted and attracted to and attractive to a particular age bracket or particular mindset, you have to be in that mindset. You feel me? You have to be in that fucking mindset. There's no way fucking around it. You feel me? I have to be in a certain mental space in order to even be able to entertain a motherfucker that's in that mental space. You dig what I mean? So it's like, as my brothers and shit, in modern times, it's like, how are we still able to stay in the situation mentally where we're able to deal with a certain pocket of women? You feel what I'm saying? We've been conditioned to make ourselves stay in that mentality pocket based off of the physical body of the woman. You feel me? So this now, off of this basic principle, this now makes us no longer have to mature. You feel me? We always want to make sure that we're appealing to that younger woman, appealing to that younger mindset of where we get stuck at. And a lot of us, we get stuck anywhere between our late teens and early 20s. Doing the shit that we did at those points. And we stay in there because we're able to. And then in addition to that, we're taught shit like, well, men don't mature that fast. He has to get to that point where he's mature and be patient with him and this other shit. Now, fuck that. As men, we need to stop putting the shit on the women that's going to tolerate our bullshit. And we need to start motherfucking saying, yo, bro, this is some fucked up shit. This is some fucked up shit. Because the very motherfucker, like, you might be that motherfucker who would be like, yeah, man, I got my little young chick and shit, right? You got a little young chick. Let's, and a lot of dudes do this shit. I know a lot of dudes, that be in the 30s and shit. 30s, mid 20s. Like, there's that, there's that creep shit. And I'm going to call it creep shit because it's like, you're trying to fuck with a young chick. Yeah, man, it's my little young chick. She do this, that, and third. And I've seen women who've been talking, like, I've talked to women who were younger than me, who had previously talked to a dude that was older than me, and were like, yeah, he said I'm mature for my age. He done fucked your head up. You're not mature for your age. He's immature for his. Like, I think we need to start shifting that narrative and shit. That's not smart. That's not cool. I think the boy was like 32 and she was 26. She was like, yeah, I was like, but why didn't it work? She was like, cause we didn't, I was trying to take it slow and he wanted to fuck and didn't get, like, so how mature is that? What kind of mentality is that to where you wanted to take it slow and get to know him at 26 years old? He's 32 and he just wants to fuck. That nigga still sounds 17. And if you ain't about it, then you bullshitting and other, like, he was saying shit to her that, that a 17-year-old would say. It's the shit that I used to say when I was like 14 and 15. You feel me? Shorty like, yo, come over. I come over and I'm like, yo, you playing, man. Why you playing? Yo, you capping, all this shit. Like, you feel me? I was doing that shit at 14, 15 years old. Like, and motherfuckers are still doing that shit in 30s. Still carrying that same mantle, like in your 30s, 40s and shit. Like, what point? That's what it's like. What point do we cross over to the manhood side? And I'm using the relationships and the physical aspect because this is where it's most prevalent. This is where it's most prevalent. You feel what I'm saying? This right here is where it's most prevalent. And I'm looking at the fucked up quandary in it because as men, it's like we get to that, oh man, I'm finally ready to settle down. I'm finally do this. And that should be like late 30s, early 40s. Like, I'm finally mature enough to be in a stable relationship where I can communicate, where I can speak a certain way, where I can actually express my feelings and my emotions in this and not feel a certain, like, Motherfuckers be 40 and 50 years old when they feel that shit. So it's like, bruh, is it a matter of the fact that we're not maturing fast enough, or we're not maturing the right way, or we're not being matured? I think motherfuckers think it's a default thing. Like, men just do it. Like, no, there's every culture, there has to be, like, there's a rites of passage. There's a rites of passage where you become a man. When was the last time we had a rites of passage? When was the last time we had a moment where we was like, yo, I have literally transitioned from being a teenager to a man? Some of us still think, act like we did several years ago, decades ago. And don't realize, like, why it's like, why she don't want to take me serious? Why she want to take me serious? Like, nigga. One of the other things that really get me to is the whole what you doing thing. Like, women be like, yo, you're not about to what you doing me to death. Right? Women are fed up with that shit. They're like, yo, so it's like, but yet we're still doing it. As men, we're still doing the whole what you doing thing. And shit's like, we are not even able to have a true conversation that lasts that long. You feel me? Like, it's hard. Like, there's a level of maturity that you need to have to initiate a conversation. Yo, what you doing? What you doing? All right, good. That's what's up. Like, how do you engage in a conversation? Like, at what point is that maturity level there? You dig what I'm saying? See, what we're taught a script on how to get a number. We're taught a script on how to get a number, but we're never really taught how to talk to women. That's a maturity thing. That's a transitional phase. You feel me? It literally has to change in that. So it's like, when women are saying these things, you're not about to what you're doing me to death. Like, I'm looking at it like, oh, he is. And I am, if I'm in that space, because that's the place I'm in. You feel what I'm saying? You know how fucking excited women used to get when you would send a text back in the day in your teenage years? What you doing? That shit worked then. You know, as the phrase goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we stick to that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What you doing? Hey, big head. Hey, what's up? La, la, la. Little subtle, flirty shit. That shit don't work when you get mature. Excuse me. That shit don't work when you mature in your dynamic and in your respective position. That shit doesn't work anymore. You have to truly change that. You feel what I'm saying? And that's just a conversational piece. That's just a conversational piece. There's so many motherfucking layers to our immaturity. To where we be old as fuck. And then our maturity doesn't come back until it's time to dictate and mandate some shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy as fuck to me. Like, I'm still hearing, like, at 30 years old, I'm still hearing the whole bullshit. Men only want one thing. And that started to make me wonder. It's like, damn, bro, like, we really built. No, men don't only want one thing. Immature men only want one thing, because immature men still acting like 15 to 17-year-old boys who are still looking for that pink thing. You feel me? And that is one of the problems. It's like, I don't know if it's the addiction to sex. I don't know if whatever it is, the moment that we start feeling the sex and everything, but we stop there when we find a way that gets us pussy. That's it. That's it. And I've learned that we've gauged our maturity off of, and in many regards, we gauge off of maturity on what can get us sex. And don't even know it. And so when we're only able to get sex from immature women, that's why the bracket starts to extend. And then the women our own age, we can't fuck with. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we're not able to fuck with them heavy. There's no reason why I should be able to, personally, this is just how I feel. You feel me? Granted, I get that I'm quote unquote mature for my age. I'm ahead of my time. A lot of people say that shit. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I'm ahead. I feel like I'm fucking 30. And I feel like my mind is 30 and shit like that. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes I go back and forth and say shit like, well, I'm an old soul and this, that, and the third. No, I personally don't really feel like an old soul. I feel like I'm just a person who has matured as he was supposed to. You feel me? Because it's me looking out the box. I could be wrong though. But nah, I feel like there's a problem with the fact that we're not on our age. Like, you know what I'm saying? And here's what I was saying. Like, I'm able to have these conversations with women who are, 10 times my age, like 10 years older than me, 8, 9. Like the brackets are there, and it's like there's no block for me. There's no stop. I know how to move and be able to be in their spaces. You feel what I'm saying? But then it's like when I look at when they tell me about the dudes that they was with, I'm like, the fuck? It was like, yeah, man, he's older. I thought he would be like, you feel me? What happened? What the fuck happened to where we stopped maturing? And I'm telling you, this is where it happened. One of the pieces is the relationships, our relationship interaction with women. We never elevated with the times. Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspire them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise. After reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. We never elevated with the times. We got stuck in the time loops, and we stayed there, and we like, yeah, yo, I'm still like, my dude, I get it. If you're an old head and you want to go to the club, go to the club with other old heads though. You feel me? That's a problem when you're able to go to the club, when you're trying to go to the club. We know what you're going for, but I'm saying that's a problem when you're going to the club and you're looking for this. You feel me? You ain't even supposed to be in that motherfucker. You feel me? But you get stuck in a pocket. You get stuck in a moment that's like, yo, this will be my moment. You feel me? And it fucks you up. And I know a lot of people say shit like, well, when women, and that's what, I know I ain't say my thought, but my shit's everywhere right now. This shit is very disturbing to me. This shit is very disturbing to me because like, when do we cross into manhood? When do we actually feel like men? Not the little teenager, not like, when is the point, like, when we actually feel that shit? You feel me? Like knowing what it's like to feel like going from a boy to an adolescent. You know that if that mature feel, you feel me? You get to a point where you can no longer necessarily like interact with people that are in that space. Not necessarily, and I don't mean just younger by age, but younger by mentality. You're like, I'm out of that mentality. What the fuck happens to where we're able to still, after 18 to 19 years old, what happens to us to where we're still able to think and act and carry ourselves like 18 and 19-year-olds? What happens? We don't have a certain, we don't step over into into that next level of maturity. You feel what I'm saying? Not truly anyway. And it's like, how are we not doing this? What is the problem? What is not happening? Because I'm looking at the full cusp of everything. You know? Your adolescent years are your years when you're supposed to be irresponsible and unaccountable. You feel what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to learn how to be responsible and accountable through your actions and shit. But it's like, what happens? Why does that mentality stick? You feel me? It's motherfuckers that are just as unaccountable today as they were when they were kids. It's motherfuckers that are just as irresponsible today as they were when they were kids. You feel what I'm saying? What happens? What happens? And I feel like what happens is the circles with that. The circles we involve ourselves with, the circles we stay in. If we're going to stay in the fucking pools that allow us to stay in the shit, we'll do it. We'll stay there. And we'll think, oh, we're not maturing. We're not aging. We're just getting old. We're just becoming old, young, little niggas that are older than people. You feel me? There's no reason why you should be 50 years old saying, yo, I'm the kid. No, you're not. You ain't been a kid in forever. Fucking Peter Pan. What the hell? You dig what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, you see the stories of a motherfucker having a midlife crisis. What does he do? He gets him a 25-year-old woman. Why? You feel what I'm saying? I've learned like this is a different side tangent, but it kind of goes in hands with stepping into our manhood. It's like now we're looking at why do women feel the need to get surgery? Why do women feel the need to start, letting themselves, quote unquote, letting themselves go, not keeping themselves up or whatever the case may be, and then worrying about if they man still, because they're men, like we don't even mature with the age of our women. Because we don't mature with the age we're supposed to be. So therefore we can't mature with the age of our women. We can only mature with, or if we mature, stay in a pocket of what we find something that's stuck. You dig what I'm saying? This now, like I said, this takes me back to the old head that I was talking about, who was like 50. I was like 28, he was like 50. Now this goes even deeper because he was my employee. He was my employee in the company that he started working at first. That shit confused the fuck out of me. He had been there for 10 years. You feel me? I had been there. I was in this company for a year and like 6 months. And I completely eclipsed him. Now, granted, I know I had dreams, I had goals, I had visions and everything like that. But here's my mentality with that. Because as I'm talking to him, not only am I talking to him as he's one of my employees, but like he's really acting like my younger employees. When I say younger employees, like younger, like 18, 19, 20 years old, like me and him chilling one day. And I expect, like when I sit with the elders, man, I expect to learn something every time. I don't care. Like even if it's subtle, even if it's simple, I expect that when I sit at your feet, even if you say the most simplest shit, I can get something out of it. He's showing me twerk videos. He's like, yo, do you see this ass? That's what you still on, bro. Like, bro, I get it. But at 50, that's a problem. That's a problem. And then it's like, I'm like, bro, come on, bro. That's cool and all, but we ain't got to do that shit right now. That's when it becomes disappointing to me. Now, mind you, at the time I was like 27, 28. So I'm like, no, I was 27 because I was gone when I was 28. I was 27. So I'm telling him I'm like, it's cool and all, but then it's like, I'm like, I wouldn't be so upset or I wouldn't feel a certain type of way if he was my age. Like literally my age. You feel what I'm saying? Probably still would have been on some shit, bro. Like, damn, bro, that's all you watch, nigga. Like, you feel me? I would have still been on some shit like that, but it wouldn't have been as disappointing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, bro, like, not only from the twerk video thing, but then the fact that it's like, yo, you've been here for 10 years and you have not decided to move up yet. You have not even tried to put yourself in a position to move forward yet. You feel what I'm saying? But then talking to him, it's like, bro, you just like my young heads. You feel me? And the reason why you clash with my young heads is because it's just like the old dudes, who try to come back and take the block from the young kids. Nigga, let them have the block, bro. The fuck? Get on the block. Damn. Nah, man, I'm back, I'm back on the block. Now the old head, now you got to get smoked. They got to lay you out because you need to mature out of that shit. You feel me? And maturation comes with accountability and responsibility. Comes with 2 points. It comes with one, accountability and responsibility. You have to continue to be accountable and responsible for your actions. We ain't that. That phrase, boys will be boys, gives us the credence to fuck up. That phrase, boys will be boys, gives us the credence to fuck up. But as black men, we ain't got that fucking luxury to do that shit. That don't apply to us. You feel what I'm saying? That don't fucking apply to us. Boys will be boys stops applying to us ahead of time. I know we would want to be boys. We would want to have that boyish mentality and be able to get through certain shit and be able to do. We don't have that luxury in any facet. We're not supposed to have that luxury. We shouldn't want the motherfucker. Grow and have the levels of the game. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a professional basketball player. You're just a grown man playing basketball. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a football player. You're just a grown man playing football. Like sport, like you're playing games all day. You feel me? Now, you do have those who break the pocket and, I'm going to get paid for it. If I ain't got to grow up, I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get paid for the shit. I at least get your hustle on. You feel what I'm saying? But then now when you look at it, how I'm watching how the athletes are the face. Athletes, comedians, entertainers, all that shit, but mainly athletes are the face of what our young boys see and shit, right? You feel what I'm saying? A lot of these athletes don't grow up. They don't grow up. You could tell by the fact that they're still listening to this, like the music. I can always tell a person's mental age by the music they listen to. I can always tell a person's mental capacity by what entertains them. As I always say, entertainment means to go in and hold the mind. We're still entertained by the shit that we were entertained with when we was teenagers. How? How can you still be whatever? If you've involved yourself with something for 10 years and you're still entertained by it the same way, it's a problem. It's a problem. So much so, but it's one of those justifiable problems. Because if you're in a relationship, if you're in a physical relationship and she started getting boring and she's like, you're like, nah, I don't want no parts of it. I no longer want to mature. Like, we be getting fucked up because we're watching somebody grow in front of us. Oh, you changing, you getting distant. No, this motherfucker is growing and you staying the same because we have the luxury of staying the same and just restarting shit. You feel what I'm saying? Because our entertainment is different. We're entertained differently. And we're entertained the same way. Our entertainment stops at 17. What we allow to entertain us on a regular basis, it stops at 17. This is why motherfuckers still be watching and doing the same shit. Like, I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to use this as an example. Love and Hip Hop came out, I think, when I was in high school. Why is Love and Hip Hop still going? You feel what I'm saying? The audience in which that was built for originally, quote unquote, they phased out. And I get it. It's like, okay, well, they bring in a new, fresher audience to appeal to the younger demographic. I get that. But why the fuck do you have all old heads up that motherfucker? Shit's crazy, bro. Shit's fucking mind boggling. You feel what I'm saying? These motherfuckers ain't young no more. But we're watching them act as if we're watching them act and carry themselves in the exact same manner they did when they were a certain age. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we need to start putting that shit in context. The motherfuckers I grew up listening to are in the, like, this is one of the reasons why through everything, this is why I will always listen to Jay-Z. I don't know if it's just me. It could be like, Jay-Z has evolved with his music. And so now when I listen to people who's like, yeah, man, Jay ain't the same as he was for reason. I'm like, yo, he's better, bro. Like, nah, that ain't Reasonable Doubt, Jay. That ain't the Blueprint, Jay. That ain't the Blueprint 2. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. And then I watch how art imitates reality. So we want people to stay in a certain pocket. We want people to stay in a certain pocket. And they don't mature with the time. That's just in music, bro. That's just in music. Jay, Nas, fucking, that's it. Think about it. That's all that's there. Jay and Nas. They're the only ones that are still maturing with their music. They not rapping about the shit that they was rapping about when they was in their 20s. But the problem, the crazy part about the shit, when they was rapping in their 20s, they were still on some other shit. They were still ahead of their class. You dig what I'm saying? And this is why I'm putting this into perspective, because it's like, you feel me? Much respect to him. He was the GOAT at a point in time. Lil Wayne is the same person. Weezy is the same motherfucker. Like, we be like, I want that old, I'm getting those 09 feels, those Carter 3. Like, you should not get those feels. That is a epoch. Like, and when certain artistry, you have to stay there to entertain a certain thing. You feel what I'm saying? All of that I'm saying is because, this, you're able to see the point of, I don't have to mature. I don't have to mature. I have to stay here. And then it's just like, I re-go with the people that are younger, that are possibly gonna like this and cater to them. You know, the impressionable mind. I get that part. But then other than that, it's like, do you mature with the times? Nah. And like I said, I can tell by what entertains you. I can tell what position you're in. I can tell like what that space is. And the fact that as men, we're seeing every day that we don't have to grow up. We're seeing every day men that like I said, watching Love and Hip Hop, all these niggas is over 40, bro. Are we really gonna like, you feel me? Like when, the Mimi and Nigo sex tape leaked, quote unquote. When the motherfucking sex tape leaked, we act like this was an accident. Like this was a mistake a teenager did or an early 20-year-old did on some accidental whim. No, these motherfuckers made a conscientious decision. They was in their 40s. They made a very, very conscientious adult decision that 40-year-olds had made. And it's like, bruh. And Nico convinced her to do it, I guess, whatever the case may be. But like, that's the point. Like, bruh, at 40? I get it. That's what's bagging your groceries. That's cool. That's what you wanted to do. But like, yo, bro, you're in your 40s. And you watch the Love and Hip Hop reunion, you would think you sitting there watching some early 20-year-old motherfuckers. And none of these niggas is in their 20s. None of them. None of them. None of them. We're like, damn, I'm like, I was watching, you see Peter Guns on a motherfucker, right? And then I remember like in the early phases, it's been this long since I watched it because his son was up there before he got got arrested. Corey Guns. Like, bruh, Corey Guns was my age. Corey Guns was my age and Peter was still acting like his son Corey. But these are the things that show you, and they'll constantly perpetuate. Men don't mature. Do you see this shit? Men can't mature. How the fuck don't we mature? We don't have to. We aren't matured. That's the problem. We aren't matured. You feel me? We aren't matured through accountability and responsibility, so we operate through reaction instead of proaction. You feel me? We don't have to think ahead. We don't even think in a moment. We just do shit. That's immature behavior. That's teenage adolescent behavior. You feel what I'm saying? When you can't get to a point where you can't control your own mind and you can't control your own actions and you're following shit and that bracket gets so motherfucking wide and you still act like you did, like Ali said, when, you know what I mean? If you are 50 and you still think the same way you did when you was 25, you wasted 25 years of your life. He might have said those exact numbers, but the principle still stands. You feel me? It's a lot of motherfuckers. It's like, when I first started peeping it, my big homies, like I said, it's all respect to them. My big homies are my little homies now. Right? And all of my big homies had like anywhere between 7 to 10 years older than me. But my big homies are my little homies now. That's a problem. That's a problem. But even when they were my quote unquote big homies, as I'm talking to them, trying to soak up the game and shit, I'm like, yo, I already know that. I already know to do that. Like, what are you showing me? Then it's like, you can start to see yourself elevate above them and pass them. And then he clips them and then it's just like, yo, bro, you think different. You like, yo, you're supposed to be on this page too. Like but the thing is, we are not matured. We don't mature. We don't have to. We can stay young. We can stay in these pockets and we don't have to let that shit go. So now when you get into a situation where it's just like, that's why it piggybacks, from the Know Your Status episode that just dropped last week. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, yo, bro, if my girl clean, I'm clean. No. How stupid is that? You feel me? What level of immaturity do you have to be to where you fear to know your own status of yourself? That's some other shit. You feel me? That's some other shit. So when I'm looking at it like, when do we cross over into this level of manhood? When? At what point, like, really take a step back and ask yourself, when did I become a man? Not then when I start working. Not like, when did you become a man? When did you start feeling like, yo, I'm a man now? You feel me? Think back to that. Like, think back from graduating high school. Think back from college if you went. Think back up until, just chronologize and think back of your life between 17 and 25 years old. You feel me? See, people think the prison pipeline is like just designed for, criminals and shit. Nah, the system is made this way. The education system is made this way for this purpose reason, because they want to make sure that the viability between 18 and 25 does not have a chance to grow. Not only physically, but mentally and spiritually too. From 18 to 25, that's when we're captivated the most. You think that's an accident? So we think we think it's because it's only physical prisons. They only targeted us for physical prisons. No. It's a mental cage too. You dig what I'm saying? It's a spiritual cage too that we're in from 18 to 25, because those are very lucrative points. Because from 18 to 25 is the time pocket when we're supposed to be evolving as men. And for many of us, we get stuck in that fucking pocket. You dig what I'm saying? How? We think that's like most of the charges when they start targeting people to go to jail, right? Like I said, the charges are heavy from 18 to 25. We keeping you out. We keeping you out of the world from 18 to 25. You know why? You know fucking why? Because the age is the age you are when you go in is the age you are when you come out, right? You can't mature, right? So now we're looking at it from that perspective of everything is doing this. The media, the entertainment, the music. Like, think about the shit. Think about how from, like I said, let's talk about the Love and Hip Hops. Let's talk about all of these different reality shows. Who is the age demographic? 18 to 20 fucking 5. Why? Why? You think you got to go to prison to be in jail? No, let me rephrase that. You think you have to be, I'm going to say it like this. You think you have to be incarcerated to be in prison? I've been institutionalized. These are all institutions. You feel me? These are all institutions. You know, but from 18 to 25 is a very important pocket of life. 18 to 25 is a very important pocket of life. That is the pocket in which we as men are supposed to be maturing. That is when we cross over into manhood. That is when we step up and say, you know what? I'm a fucking man now. You feel me? Not I'm a motherfucker who's getting some pussy. You feel me? Not that I just got a job and shit like that. No, like, when do you become a man? When do you have that moment where you say, damn, I'm a man, bro. I'm a man. Like, not like, and I like, not just calling yourself a man. Yo, I'm a grown ass motherfucking man. And it's like, but we proclaim to be a grown ass man as we still doing the same shit we did before we were grown men. Mentally, we're in the same space. And I don't mean just like learning books and all of that shit. Like, no, I mean on your mind capacity works a certain way. Your soul capacity works a certain way. There's a design from 18 to 25. That is to keep you in there. If they can lock you in from 18 to 25, the game is done. The game is done. Wherever you're locked in at, between your 18th year and your 25th year, wherever you lock in at, that's where you're going to be till you retire. I bullshit you not. You're going to stay in that mental space. You're going to stay in that spiritual space. You're going to stay in that time frame. You dig what I'm saying? You're going to stay in that time frame. And if you do mature, when you do mature, it's going to be, you know, maturing according to the things of that pocket. College was fun for me. College was great. But, you know, when I first went to college is going to be the best 4 years of your life. What they don't tell you is college is going to be the last 4 years of your life. Because once you get that first job, it's good. You landed, you stay there, and you're there. You're there doing the same things every single day until you retire. You feel what I'm saying? Your growth stops there. You dig what I mean? So now when I look at it now, I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, bro, you still think like you did? So now, when we put that into perspective and dudes be like, boys only want one thing. Men only want one thing. They only want one thing. Why? Now you see why we only want one thing? We never mature because we don't have to. It's not that women mature faster than us. Women have to mature. The societal structure conditioned y'all and prepared y'all, whether y'all still want to fuck with it from today's perspective or look at it biblically. You're matured. We're not. We can make stupid, fucked up decisions and be okay. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It ain't got shit to do with us. Boys will be boys. We can continue to do certain shit. You feel me? We don't have that rite of passage moment where we're fucking maturing. Where we're fucking going through the trenches and saying, you know what? I don't want to be in this space no more. I'm not going to be in this space no more. You feel me? Because we don't have to, because there's always going to be some women that are going to tolerate our bullshit. And I know they're like, well, why you keep talking about women? Because everything we do is for women. Everything we do is in some way, shape, or form for the women. Like I always say this, rationale is going to follow emotionality. Men are going to follow the women. You feel me? Y'all can talk that shit. I ain't say that. Nah. In our immature phase, we're conditioned to chase women and seek women. That's why everything we do has to be based upon women. So who do you think is going to be the standard to elevate us or make us stay the same? Us, because it's our attraction to the thought process of the woman. It ain't the woman's fault, but we're going to choose to follow the women. You feel me? How you 18 to 25 time frames? How you think the club fills up? Ladies, get in free before 11. Nigga, all the bitches gonna be there. Let's go. You feel me? And they shit don't even be free for real. You feel me? Because it's a mind fuck. You get in before 11 and shit. They open the doors at 10:55. Only like 8 motherfuckers get in for free. Because after that, the cutoff hit. You feel me? But they gonna make their money back because all the dudes gonna show up because all the hoes gonna be there. You feel what I'm saying? You don't even know how programmed you are to chase women. In every dynamic. Chase them and hate them at the same time. Ain't that some shit? You feel me? That's some crazy shit. But it's like in our maturity and shit, it starts to affect, because it's like, how can women, like, if the maturity is supposed to be like 3 years, how does it get so far? How does it get so far by the time we're in our 30s? By the time we're in our 40s? You feel me? Oh, I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to get it right. I'm ready to do this. Like, I be looking at people who's in relationships and shit, and I'll be like, bro, y'all still the same. They're like, yo, it just ain't work. And they're like, yo, why the relationship ain't working? It's getting stale. It's getting this because y'all are not growing. Y'all are not maturing together. Y'all want to stay the same, and y'all want to stay as you were. And that's one of the biggest problems, because in the immaturity, in the inability to mature, and that rites of passage manhood, we don't value women at our levels. We don't know how to be attracted to women at our levels. You dig what I'm saying? We don't know how to be attracted to women at our levels. It always has to be somebody who is at a level that's not quite where we are, but is striving to be there, and they can make it there. And then it's like, quote unquote, we're going to be the potential. What, on Power and shit, what was one of the teachers, he was fucking one of his interns, or one of his master's interns or some shit like that. Why? Why are you fucking, why do we continue to fuck women that are younger than us? And it's not just the physical. We hyped it up. We hyped it up as like, oh, she's mentally there. Nah, like, you play the game. Play the game. You know how easy it is to run game on a woman? When you are conditioned to be an emotionless being, you feel me? It's easy as hell to pull it on the heartstrings of an emotional being and not give a fuck. It ain't got shit to do with maturity. You feel me? But at the same time, the maturity within us is negative and toxic, because it's like when we look at how the women are still how we're still able to play women out. How we're able to still like, yo, she listen to everything I fucking say, man. She be doing this and shit like that. That's childish shit. When do we grow up? When do we mature? When do we start being accountable and responsible for our actions? Shit goes on. Yo, that wasn't my fault, man, but you're responsible. If you're involved with the shit, you're still responsible. You got to handle your shit. Be accountable for your shit. And then it gets to where we're reactive instead of proactive. You feel me? Doing all this shit. Fucking random broads raw and getting, she trapped me. She didn't trap you, stupid ass. She didn't trap you. Oh, that bitch burnt me. Did you use a condom? Nah, but she didn't tell me. She didn't have to tell you, bitch. You supposed to be proactive. That's some very immature, childish shit. That's teenage shit. And that's the epochs we get stuck in. Now, granted, there's a continual stream of, okay, at this age, act this way. At this age, act this way. And that's what the school system is about. Then you got to think about the dropouts. The moment you fall off from the plug of the system, that's where you stay. Not on no funny shit, but that's where you stay. You feel what I'm saying? Because what's fucked up is that our maturity is based off of a collective. We mature at different rates. Everybody matures differently when you're instilled that way. When you're instilled to cater to what's in your truer self. But we're all cookie cutter. We're all put into one system to come out the same way. You feel me? And we do come out the same way. But as men, we get the slight from the shit because it's like, yo, we can stand on patriarchy. We can stand on misogyny. We don't have to do shit. We don't have to get better at life for nothing. We don't have to mature in ourselves for nothing until we realize, damn, man, it's time for me to settle down. Bitch, I'm 40. I'm 50. The fuck did I wait this long for? And now all of the women that it's like, now it's like bing, light bulb goes off. And now I'm starting to see the women that are like actually my age. And they're like, damn, imagine maturing with this type of woman. Now these motherfuckers, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. This is why I like they age like fine wine. You feel me? They age like fine wine. Some of the older brothers and shit, they ain't aging like that, but they also in relationships with women who are aging well. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like the women that it's like, yo, I had to I had the biggest crush on you when we was like, you know where your mind has to be to where you're still going back to your high school crushes, telling them about how much you had a crush on them. Think about that. Where the fuck did you stop? Where did you stop? And not only where did you stop, at what point in life do we know and can we acknowledge that we have now crossed over into manhood? And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that up. Like, I get frustrated with this kind of conversation all the time because it's not just on the outside surface. It's like, you know what I mean? I got uncles still on the same type time. It pisses me off only because it's like, it's disappointing. It's heartbreaking because like we'll go to a family reunion, right? We'll be at a family function or whatever the case may be. And I'll be wanting to interact with my peers. I'll be wanting to go play freeze tag, shoot water balloons and shit with the kids and shit. Cause you know, my inner child stay alive and I'm a kid at heart. I still go, play those games and shit like that. But I still have tapped into that maturity because it's like when I'm at the family functions and shit, I spend a decent amount of time with the kids. I spend a decent amount of time with my peers in my pocket, and then I spend time with my elders, right? Like clockwork. It's just what I do. I don't know why I started doing it. Like, it's like we'll play tag or whatever the case may be. I play with the kids, play football, play basketball, soccer, whatever the case may be. We'll play that shit. Then after that, I slow down. I come back and I'll, talk to my peers, my peer group, the cousins that we go up the street with. I go and fuck with them. And then after that, I go and I chill with my uncles. And when it gets with my uncles, not all of them, but I'm not gonna say they don't teach me shit, because we do have equal conversations and shit. But it's like when we talking and they be like, yo, nephew, every time we talk, I learn something from you. That hurts me. That hurts me. Not only because they didn't teach me nothing growing up, you feel what I'm saying? But because even now you still can't do it. Now, granted, it wasn't your responsibility. It was my pop's responsibility to teach me shit. Even that motherfucker pisses me off. Like, my pops is, okay, well, he's 30 years older than me. Period, obviously. But when I was 18 years old, I think that would have been the last time. No, I talked to him when I was 26. And it's like, our conversation was stupid. And it was on some shit like, yo, bro, I'm 26 years old. I'm 20 fucking 6 years old. So I finally talked to him. I call him up and shit. Because at this point, I was like, yo, bro, I don't know what came over me. I just need to talk to him. It wasn't like I needed to scream at him, nothing like that. I did that to him when I was 18, but when I was 26, I was just talking to him and shit. And he's like, yeah, man, I hope everything's going good. He said, this was the depth of the conversation. He was like, he said, yo, I know you got some girls out there running behind you and everything. I said, nah, Pop, I'm building my businesses and stuff and working, getting my things in order so I can, have things solidified. He said, that's what's up, man. Keep your head on your shoulders. He said, but whatever you do, man, just make sure you use protection because you don't want to have no babies out here. Nigga, that's advice you should have gave me when I was like 12, 13. I didn't learn all of these lumps. Like there's that point that's like not there. So it's like, but talking to him, it's like, what really pissed me off was, I'm talking about moving up in ranks and, he was like, yeah, man. I was like, what's going on, Pa? He's like, man, I'm getting by here and there. And then he said, the white man won't let me have none. Nigga, like that's what you still on? So like I said, I put the credence on my pops, but it's still disappointing when I look at like that's a generation of men. My pops, my uncles, the dude that I was, those employees that I was talking about, it was two of them. They're all in that 50. That's them. what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened to where they stopped maturing? They ask why we don't listen to the old heads. We don't have shit to listen to. We don't. We don't. You know? So it's like, when will we get to there? When we get to that moment where we're like, you know what? I'm a man now. And I'm only asking this question because it's like, when I look at the elders, Now, granted, as far as my uncles, it ain't all of them. Not all of them. I say about 80% of them have, like, you know, I want to, like, yo, I learned from you. Like, yo, you ahead of your time. I'm not ahead of my time, bro. I'm right on par with the time I'm supposed to be on. You're delayed, dog. They allow us to be delayed. You feel me? They allow us to be delayed. We shouldn't be this way. But like I said, we get stuck in that pocket, that epoch from 18 to 25. That is a very important time in your life. And that is where we're supposed to be transitioning into manhood. How? How do we? You feel me? We move off into old age, and then, you know, like, there was, like, in days of old, men had studies. Now we have game rooms. We have man caves. We call it a man cave, but what is it? It's an entertainment center. It's a kids entertainment center. Again, if you got a man cave, this ain't no shot to you. But if you ain't got a library, that's a shot to you. How the fuck do you have more video games than you have more books about information? You feel me? That's why this shit frustrates me. They broke us to where our mentality, we stay in the adolescent mindset. You feel me? I'm not knocking the celebrities. I'm not knocking football players, basketball players who run the ball all day long, and then they have the whole wall of shoes. I got a shoe collection. I have not once seen a collection advertised of anybody who's trying to stunt on their book collection. When you're at that caliber, I'm talking about, like, the millionaires and all of them motherfuckers. I have yet to see them show what they're building their mind for. Yeah, we get it, nigga. You fresh. Are you smart? Can you think? Can your mind process shit? At what point do we mature into manhood? At what point does our entertainment change? It doesn't. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all gonna go buy 2K every year. Every year. For what? The rosters don't change that much. You might have a few points here and there, but it's like, every year we get 2K. Every year we get Madden. You feel me? And we laugh at people, those who's just, like, not in, like, every time I go to one of my cousin's house, every time, yo, you know, granted, I use this example and I wrap it up. I got a cousin that wanted to challenge me in this Dragon Ball Z game. Now, this Dragon Ball Z game, I was raw as fuck. I used to whoop everybody ass who came to the table. You feel me? I stopped playing video games. So I beat him so bad. I beat my sister's ex-husband so bad. And the motherfucker, like, I fucked them up. And they were gamers. But, like, I used to be a gamer. I say it's muscle memory, bro. But I beat their motherfucking ass so bad that every time I would come back to my cousin, you know, at the time when my sister was married to him, like, they were like, yo, let's play Dragon Ball Z. I think I can beat you. I've been practicing. Nigga. All right, that's what you want to do? We'll plug up. I'll dust his ass off again. Right? Now it's to the point, I think the last time we played, I know the last time we played, it was way before I went to Philly. So I think the last time I played them, I had to be like 24 because it was after med school, or was it before med school? Yeah, it was before med school. So I was 23. I was 23 years old when I played them. Right? I'm 30 and that's still our conversation. Well, I don't converse with my sister's ex-husband, you know, that's dead, but that's a dub. But my cousin's like, I'm 30. And he was like, yo, bro, we need to play Dragon Ball Z. I got to get my face back. Nigga, it's been 7 fucking years, dog. 7. You feel me? I'm not knocking it. Some people are stuck in that epoch. Some people are stuck in their own epochs. But it's disappointing to me. It's frustrating to me because it's like, when do we grow? When do we put that shit down? When do we acknowledge that I don't want to do this shit anymore? I need to start doing more shit. I can do more shit. I can entertain myself with more maturing shit. You dig what I'm saying? When? When do we get there? What will be the template to where our boys can mature? I'm not talking about, oh, now they can put a tie on. You can do this. The mind. I don't give a fuck about the body no more. That's the point that I'm trying to get to. And that's why it's fucking frustrating, because we understand the whole, whether the shit was real or not, or was a fantasy, the Willie Lynch letter, but whatever, you build the body, you break the mind. Why the fuck are we still building the fucking bodies? We get that. We can do that shit. Everything is about the physical, and our minds are captivated on bullshit. It's captivated by bullshit. That shit frustrates me because there's no manhood. That manhood shit to say, all right, man, this is old shit now. This is kid shit. Like, you feel me? Let me move forward. Let me fucking move forward. Let me elevate. Let me start to transform and change. You feel me? Because otherwise we're just going to continue to do the same bullshit. You feel me? Everybody be like goals. I be seeing women and men both post goals of them playing video games. I don't want a motherfucker to play video games with me. The fuck? That shit pisses me off, man. Like, I don't. It's like my kind of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what people hype it up. Oh, we're playing video games together. Okay. Y'all 8? What the fuck are you, 7? You feel me? But nah, it's like, I don't mind. Like, that's how you entertain yourself. True, cool, do that shit. But at some point, we have to realize that we're now putting a cap on the generation that is supposed to follow us, because they can only go as high as we allow them to go, and they can only go as high as we show them as possible. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody want to be a rapper. Bing, that's why. Everybody want to trap and sell drugs. Bing, that's why. But don't nobody want to go to college, even though the motherfuckers that go to college still stay in the same space. It's just a little bit elevated, because we have a little bit of elevated point when we go to college is different. But after that, your shit gonna be the same. Like, we need to start setting the standards for when we supposed to be maturing. You feel me? Because now we getting with women that are significantly younger than us, and that's like, oh, he so this, he so that. Cause man, I done had time fucking up all of this other shit. I got comfortable being in this type of space. You feel me? Now the older women out here, just like, you know, I talk to so many older women, and they're telling me like, yo, this is just like, they don't like. It's like, I hate stale conversations. Men just don't. It was like, yo, I mean, this is a part of the shit that we do. When we allow boys to be boys, you feel me? And who sets the standard for that shit? You feel what I'm saying? The son is going to watch how the mother operates with the husband, or the boyfriend, or whatever the case may be, or the men that are in her life. Whatever mommy approves as what the standard for the man is, that's what he's able to become. I get it. There's no standard. Okay, whatever the case may be, it is what it is. You know? But you got to know how to, like, I was raised without my father. I had no father figure. You feel me? I had one dude that lived across the hall. Well, not the hall, like the little apartment complex. It was like outside duplex and shit, but he lived across the side. You feel me? He helped me build a race car and shit like that. You know, interact, but it wasn't that much. So the duration of my life, I ain't have a male figure. But the season shit that my mom ain't playing, she knew she couldn't do shit. She knew she couldn't teach me to be a man. She couldn't teach me the maturity levels. So all she did was flood me with the leaders of the black community and shit, like Malcolm X books, you know, Huey Newton, all of that. Like, she flooded me with all of those things. I was like, yo, read this, go 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 read this. And it was like, now always ask me, like, what did you read? Like, tell me what you like, trying to get me to, not, I ain't gonna say necessarily calibrate towards that energy of what they were, but start to say, okay, these are men. These are men. I never, honestly and truly, like, I never wanted to be like Mike. I always wanted to be like Malcolm. Always. I never wanted to be like Mike. You feel me? I watched the Malcolm X movie when I was like Probably like 7. And that bitch and that was when they had VHS. That shit had 2 VHSs to that shit. I was watching that. I was watching the Panther movie. Like, I was watching all these things, and these are the people I wanted to be Huey. You feel me? I wanted to be Huey. I wanted to be Pac. I wanted to be certain things just resonate. I never wanted to be the athlete. I wanted to be the person who was thinking, who was constantly growing. Like, and I was fucking with and listening and interacting with people who were telling me to do the same. You feel what I'm saying? I say one of the biggest people that I really fuck with was Tupac. And I see that in my own personal work ethic. I'm like, yo, that's some gangster shit. I want to do that gangster shit right there. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like a lot of us get stuck in what we have to look at as our model. So where's our model coming from? Because now we have to look into we got to look at the religion. If your model citizen, if your example is the pastor and that nigga ain't shit, you feel me? You're gonna operate from that. Pastors, deacons, bishops, imams, all of that shit. You feel me? You're only gonna go as high as what you see your highest standard as. That's it. You feel me? That's it. And so when you start to look at that shit, where do we go from there? That's my biggest perspective. Where do we go from there? And how do we mature? What is our rites of passage when we actually say, you know what, I'm a man now. I don't do that shit. Again, this is not saying you childish if you play video games. You feel me? This ain't saying that you childish if, you watch reality TV and all of that shit. But at some point, if you're still doing the same shit that you was doing 7, 8 years old, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, you stuck. You see what I'm saying? Like buying the new 2K every year don't change shit. You're doing the same shit. You feel me? Like certain shit is you supposed to age out of, but we don't age out. How do we not age out of the shit? You feel me? It's because of maturity. We gotta get back into that. We gotta get truly to that point of the rites of passage and crossing over, because now we got a lot to teach our sons. You feel me? I hear all the time, the young bulls don't listen. Do you know why the young bulls don't listen? I'm not gonna listen to a motherfucker who's older than me still thinking like I am. Let's keep it a buck. That's the truth of the shit. We want the younger kids to look up to us and do that shit, but they think just like us. A lot of these young kids, they ahead of their motherfucking time. Way ahead of their time. And when you sit and talk to them, you're like, damn, bro, how you up there with the shit, bro? You feel what I'm saying? Why the fuck would I listen to that shit? Case in point, like when I just told the story, I got my uncles, I got elders, I got big homies, I got so many motherfuckers that I've eclipsed. It's hard as fuck for me to sit at the feet of an elder. I'm disappointed in them. I'm hurt by them. You feel me? All of the elders that I listen to, that I sit feet, that I've already passed on and wrote books that I can read. You feel me? Or they have YouTube videos that I gotta watch. Ain't that a bitch? Look at the collective community and shit. And then we have a lot of motherfuckers still on that shit like, yo, I'm still trying to get this right. I'm still trying to do this. I'm still trying to do this. Do the shit, bruh. As an elder, you should at least evolve yourself into an alpha over the time. Motherfuckers still be betas. Motherfuckers still be in that young mentality and shit. And we mad at the younger generation. The young kids, they don't listen. I see the problem is they ain't got no respect. It ain't got no respect. Now they don't have no fear. They don't have no fear in it because nobody ever respected the elders. We feared them. We were taught to fear them. We actually hated the shit. You feel me? You getting beat, you getting whooped, you're not learning shit, you getting embarrassed and all of that shit. You start to dislike your elders. You learn to fear them. You never have that respect for them. So now when you get that point, it's like, yo, well, I'm left to fend for myself. All right, cool. Now you got to worry about me becoming a man on my own. You feel me? And that's where it is. Like the elders are not giving us the rites of passage. The elders are not giving us the segue into the manhood. We are not crossing that line because the elders are still thinking just the same way we thought, the way we're currently thinking. We can't follow that shit. You feel me? But there has to be a certain template, a certain criteria, a standard. It's like, yo, at this moment, now we got to ascend. At this moment, you got to put that other shit away. At this moment, your mindset needs to be elevated to where what entertains you is deeper than bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be 30 years old and shit, 30, 40 years old, taking advice from Lil Uzi Vert. Yo, that was some deep shit. I ain't gonna deny the fact that the boy probably didn't say some deep shit. But how the fuck are you taking his advice? How the fuck does what he say, and you put more time on this earth than he did, how the fuck does what he say hit harder than some shit you can never fathom? That's a problem. That's a problem. It's a huge problem. And the shit's got to stop. And the shit's very frustrating to me. Like, because now it's like, now, what are we going to do going forward? What are we going to do going forward? We can continue to make excuses. We continue to acknowledge boys will be boys. And that's why I'm going to end with this, yo, because this is why this is the sickest thing ever. This is what integration did to us. This is what integration. There was degrees of separation between the black man and the white man. I don't give a fuck at this point. It wasn't until we integrated with them that we started thinking like them when we reduced ourselves. Like a motherfucker. Like we think like them. So we think we can get the passes. We can't. Because at the end of the day, we still black men. That Constitution made amendments, but you feel me? It still told you what you were. Or tried to. You feel me? And so now we're operating with people who are able who can comfortably do. This nigga is 70 fucking years old, still talking about grabbing women by the pussy. This nigga is 70 fucking years old as the fucking president, and he's doing all of this bullshit. Do you see what the fuck we want? And then, now, motherfuckers, I just want to do the shit. I want to do the shit they do and get away with it. That's an immature mentality. You feel me? When, who was it? I guess the Weinstein or whatever the motherfucker was, when he got, motherfuckers was talking about, well, R. Kelly and, condemn them. They were mad at Oprah for not putting the white dudes on this shit. I was like, y'all missing the whole point of the pedophilia and the sexual predator shit, my nigga. Y'all just we want to do what they do and not get in trouble. You feel what I'm saying? That is because these motherfuckers are significantly older. You feel me? The president of the United States is 70 years old. We integrated into this shit in the 60s, bro. He's 70 now. So what? The nigga was alive. Either way. But anyway, if this motherfucker is 70, you feel me? 2020 would have put him being born in the 50s and shit. So this motherfucker's in his 70s, right? Look at all of the immature childish shit he's doing. That's the standard. And we integrated into that shit. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you, everybody else. Now, this is why I respect the civil rights movement for what it tried to do. But integration, this is what it led to. This is what our men became. We assimilated into the Caucasian pool, Caucasian mentality, and now we think like Caucasians. We think like Caucasian men, and our mentality, our mental space is just like that. Man cave shit, black men didn't start man caves. We got them, though. You feel what I'm saying? They start a fucking man cave for some fucking comics and fucking video games. What the fuck? But then now do you see, when you're looking at, quote unquote, the leader of the free world, look at that motherfucker. Look at that motherfucker right there. That's the cap. That's the cap. I don't have to be accountable. I don't have to be responsible. I don't have to mature. I can do it and say whatever the fuck I want to. That's what the fuck the mentality in this template is for men. And we infuse into that shit when we integrate it. We think on that level. So as long as we don't have to be accountable, as long as we can do and say whatever we want to do, and everybody's going to laugh, everybody's going to think, this nigga is 70 years old acting like a fucking teenager. 70 goddamn years old acting like a fucking teenager. When do we mature? And I'm using him as the example because when integration happened, we started going into their schools, we started going into and we lost all of our businesses, we lost all of our mentors, we lost all of our leaders, all of our quote unquote leaders are religious men. Passive religious men. The fuck happened, my nigga? What the fuck happened? What happened to the men? What happened to those who aren't just old boys, who are actually men? You feel me? What happened? You see, a lot of this shit goes into it, and a lot of this shit fucks with our mentality. Like, we have to get back to the point where we have to cross over into manhood. And I'm getting extra frustrated right now more and more as I think about it, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to bring this energy into it. So I'm going to end it right here. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Check out the website, IamJustScene.com. Make sure you kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And start to reevaluate where your stance is, so that way, if you have sons, you got nephews and everything like that, it's time to elevate a template. It's time to elevate a template to give them something to strive to be greater than us. You feel me? No more insanity loops. No more insanity loops, bro. We got to stop this shit. We got to stop this shit. So go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.